from a forgotten superhero to the most dangerous being in Marvel history. The complete story of Robert Reynolds begins here. Ever since Thunderbolts hit the big screen, one question has shaken Marvel fans. Who exactly is the Sentry? And what is his connection to that terrifying shadow figure? The Void? If you're confused after watching Thunderbolts, you're not alone. Because understanding the Sentry isn't just about knowing his powers, it's about understanding his mind. This is the full breakdown of one of Marvel's most mysterious and tragic characters. From his comic book origins in the year 2000 to his shocking portrayal in Thunderbolts. Chapter 1: The Sleeping Legend. It all begins in a quiet house. A man named Robert Reynolds, seemingly normal, is sleeping beside his wife. The sky rumbles with thunder. Robert wakes up in a cold sweat, as if something deep inside him is calling out. He walks downstairs, his dog trailing behind. He's muttering to himself. In the dim light, he finds an old bookshelf, a journal, and beside it, a drink bottle. He picks up the journal, he reads, and suddenly, everything comes flooding back. Chapter 2: The Sentry's Forgotten Origin. The story takes us decades into the past. Robert was never a soldier. He wasn't a scientist. He was a troubled teenager, addicted to drugs, lost in life. One day, in search of a fix, Robert broke into a secret lab. There, he found a glowing vial, part of a government experiment abandoned long ago. Believing it was some kind of super drug, Robert drank it. In that moment, everything changed. He became something the world had never seen. A being with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Chapter 3: Project Sentry, a failed dream. But how did that serum even exist? The origins of the Sentry serum go back to Captain America. After Steve Rogers became the perfect super soldier, nations around the world raced to replicate the serum, hoping to build armies of enhanced warriors. But most experiments failed. The formula was too unstable. That's when Canada and the United States teamed up on a top-secret initiative, Project Sentry. Their mission: create a serum 1,000 times more powerful than the one that made Captain America. A hero who would be a living weapon, a god of light. But the serum was too dangerous. The early subjects either died or went mad. The government shut it down. For the next 30 years, the project changed hands, moving from lab to lab, private company to private company. All attempts to perfect the formula failed, until one brilliant professor cracked the code and stabilized the serum. That serum, meant for a noble subject, was accidentally discovered by Robert Reynolds. Chapter 4: A Mentally Unstable God. This is where the real tragedy begins. Because Robert Reynolds wasn't just an addict, he also suffered from severe mental health issues. He was lonely, depressed, broken, and when the serum bonded with him, it didn't just amplify his physical body, it amplified his mind. His worst thoughts, his fears, his guilt, all of it grew alongside his strength. As Robert became the Sentry, a symbol of hope and heroism, a dark force began growing inside him, the Void. Chapter 5: The Duality, Sentry versus Void. The Void wasn't a separate villain, it was the dark half of the Sentry himself, a shadow born from the deepest corners of Robert's psyche. The more the Sentry fought for good, the more powerful the Void became. Think of them as opposite ends of the same coin. Where there's light, there must be shadow. The Sentry, powered by hope and courage. The Void, powered by fear and destruction. The comic shows this beautifully. The more Robert remembered who he truly was, the more he awakened not just the Sentry, but the nightmare that lived within him. Chapter 6: The Comic Book Style, Memory and Madness. In the 2000 Sentry miniseries, Marvel did something bold. They designed the entire narrative as if everyone in the Marvel universe had forgotten the Sentry ever existed. Iron Man, Reed Richards, Spider-Man, they all act as if Robert Reynolds is insane. And here's the genius: Robert himself has forgotten. Only when he stumbles upon his old journal and drinks from the bottle in his house does he begin to remember. The flashbacks are stylized like Golden Age comics, bright, heroic, full of hope, but the present is dark, surreal, and tragic. That contrast shows us how far Robert has fallen and how deeply his mind has fractured. Chapter 7: Why the World Forgot the Sentry. Eventually, the truth becomes unbearable. The Sentry realizes that as long as he exists, the Void will always return. And since the Void can never be truly killed, he chooses the only option left. With the help of the world's greatest minds, Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, and Professor Xavier, they cast a powerful psychic spell to erase the memory of Sentry from everyone's minds, even Robert's. Robert Reynolds was never meant to be a superhero. He never chose the spotlight, never asked for godlike powers, but fate made him the Sentry, and his fear made him the Void. Chapter 14: The Forgotten Hero. Sentry's mysterious history. One of the most unique elements of the Sentry story is that no one remembers him. In the 2000 original comic run by Paul Jenkins, we learned that the entire Marvel Universe had once known and loved the Sentry. He fought alongside Spider-Man, Reed Richards, Professor X, even Captain America. He was considered Earth's first superhero, predating even the Fantastic Four. But then, everyone forgot him. Why? Because the Void grew more powerful, the more people remembered Robert Reynolds. So to save the world, Robert asked Doctor Strange and Reed Richards to erase all memory of the Sentry, even from himself. A sacrifice greater than death, to be erased from history, to stop the darkness inside. Chapter 15: World-shaking events, major comic arcs. Let's walk through the Sentry's most powerful comic appearances. 1. New Avengers: The Return, 2005. The Avengers discover a man locked in a psychiatric facility, Robert Reynolds. As his memories return, the Void is reborn, killing over 1 million people in Manhattan. It takes the combined effort of the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men to convince Robert to reclaim his identity. But it's clear, the Void is back and it's not going away. Dark Avengers, 2009. Norman Osborn forms his own Avengers team and recruits Sentry, exploiting Robert's fragile mind. He isolates Robert, feeds his insecurity, and unleashes the Void as his personal nuclear weapon. One horrifying scene shows the Void tearing Ares, the Greek god of war, in half. This isn't a metaphor anymore. The Void is real and he's unstoppable. Siege, 2010. This is the climax of Sentry's story. During Osborn's invasion of Asgard, Robert loses all control. The Void fully takes over. Even Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America can't stop him. With the world at risk, Robert begs the heroes, "Kill me. Please, I can't stop it anymore." Thor honors that plea, delivering a godly strike that ends Sentry's life and the Void's reign of terror. Robert Reynolds dies, a broken man, but also a hero. Chapter 16: Return from Death, the Immortal Curse. Of course, death doesn't last long in comics. Sentry returns in Uncanny Avengers, resurrected by magic and cosmic forces. But he's different. Now he's become more aware of his dual nature. He even creates a mental prison where he locks the Void away, guarding it like a warden. In this version, he's not just a man. He's an immortal concept, a balance between hope and fear, but his isolation deepens. He lives alone in a dead dimension, fighting his darker self every day. A powerful line defines him: "I'm not a god, I'm a warning." Chapter 17: The Void's True Form, a concept beyond power. As Marvel evolved the character, the Void was no longer just a monster. It became a conceptual being, fear incarnate. Writers hint that the Void existed before Robert, that it is the shadow side of all heroes. In King in Black, Sentry tries to stop Null, the god of darkness, but Null rips Sentry apart and releases the Void again. This suggests that the Sentry is no longer a single man. He's a vessel, a symbol of how closely greatness and destruction walk together. Chapter 18: Sentry in the MCU. What's next after Thunderbolts? The Thunderbolts movie ends with Robert Reynolds seemingly dead or transformed after a massive battle between Sentry and Void. But is that the end? Unlikely. Here's what Marvel Studios could explore in the future. 1. Memory erasure plot. Just like in the comics, the Sentry could be forgotten by everyone. A tragic arc where he sacrifices his identity to stop the void from growing. This opens up future films where characters slowly remember him, sparking powerful emotional moments. Doctor Strange and the Sentry. Doctor Strange plays a key role in managing Sentry's mind in the comics. A future film or Disney Plus series could pair them together, exploring the multiverse of the mind. Chapter 19. Themes that matter more than action, more than spectacle. Sentry's legacy teaches us mental health is real. Even gods struggle. Addiction and trauma need compassion, not shame. Chapter 20. Final word. The hero who broke himself. Robert Reynolds never wanted fame, he wanted peace. In the end, Sentry's story is not about how strong he is. It's about how far someone can fall and still try to get back up. Who is the Sentry? You tell them, he's the light. He's the shadow. He's the man who tried to save the world from himself. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Marvel's most powerful and tragic character, hit like and subscribe. Comment below with your thoughts on Sentry's future in the MCU. And remember, even the brightest heroes carry the deepest shadows.